United Talk, welcome back to the channel. Match reaction after Notts have lost their second pre-season friendly in Germany to Kaiserslautern. It finished 4-0. A game that was sort of over within the first 10 minutes. But quite a lot of interesting talking points. If you are new, please do subscribe to the channel. We've got loads and loads of content this year. The Paid vs Perspective podcast for those that do watch on Thursday nights at 7:30 will be returning soon. Lots of videos, more reactions to any player signings, more reactions to friendlies, vlogs coming back in this season, and also our pre-season predictions coming out. And make sure you subscribe, because once the home kit's announced, we will be doing our annual giveaway of a home and away shirt. No mention of a third shirt this year, but we'll see if there's a third shirt. We will go and give one of those away as well. As I've said, a game that was over in the first 10 minutes. We conceded. I think the match clock on the stream was a little bit behind because the ref did blow before half-time and before full-time on the clock, so before 45 and before 90. But on the match clock, it said 14 seconds when Riley Reynolds underhit a header back to the keeper, and they just went in and pounced. And I think that shell shocked Notts. It knocked us off our stride. We couldn't keep possession. They pressed us very, very, very intensely, especially in those first 15 minutes. Within the 7 minutes, it was 2-0. Don't think our keeper could have saved it. And then 2 minutes later, within 9 minutes, before 10 minutes, we're 3-0 down. Friendly or not, Patterson himself said after the last game against Darmstadt, which we did lose 2-1, a side in the same division as Kaiserslautern, that friendly or not, you want to build a winning mentality. You know, winning breeds winning, and it doesn't matter if it's a friendly. You've got to go for it. There's players in there disappointed and they're not laughing and joking, is what he said after the Darmstadt game about losing a friendly. But yeah, the game was gone. It was a really, really poor start. Obviously, there's not a lot to go off in terms of where they would sit in the English football pyramid, but the talks are and the thoughts are from people that it's probably a lower championship side, maybe top end of League One side. I mean, that was what Matty Palmer said about Darmstadt. If you watched his interview, it was quite a good interview. Go and listen to that. They shouldn't be sort of 3-0 in 10 minutes better than us, should they? So it's a really poor start. If we were playing a side, I don't know, thinking we're going to be playing Cardiff soon, aren't we, who are sort of in that bracket, we're not expecting to be 3-0 down in 10 minutes. And you'd expect in those friendlies, you're probably not even looking at losing the whole game 3-0. We did lose this 4-0. But yeah, I thought we were really poor. I'm not going to go over the top about a loss in a friendly. But I thought we were really, really poor for the opening 15 minutes. We then kind of gathered ourselves a little bit, and the passing was decent, and we kept the ball a bit better, and we dealt with their press a little bit better. We weren't as easy to, get down the wings. Whether Patterson changed something, I'm not sure. I'm interested to see his post-match. I'm sure that he'll have an awful lot to say about that. But I kind of think that the rest of the game is irrelevant. After that 3-0, I think the rest of the game becomes kind of irrelevant, because whatever you've planned for, and I know you're going to have these situations in the season. Look, we could be 3 down to Bristol Rovers away, or 3 down to someone at home. It could happen. You've got to plan for all those eventualities, but you would have gone out there with a game plan. They would have worked the last few days of a game plan, and that's all got to be changed now. And look, it's probably good we've been in that position in some senses, because Patterson can see how the squad reacts to that and what to work with, but it's not ideal. And then, as I say, we keep the ball, we pass it around quite nicely, and then Cotter gets a red card. It's a really bad tackle. I've seen some people suggesting it might not be a bad tackle. It's a bad tackle. I mean, he's not even gone for the ball. It's out of pure frustration. If you see a still frame of how far the ball away is when he leaves the ground, it's considerable way away. I'm not saying, I'm not giving excuses for it, but it was a clear free kick earlier in the move for Notts, and we did lose the ball, but the advantage should have been brought back. I'm not by any means making excuses for the challenge. It was a really poor tackle, and that leaves you in a position where you've been dominated in the first 10-15 minutes. You just got your footing back into it, and Patterson's probably thinking at this point, look, we'll go into the second half, we'll change it around a bit, see if we can get a goal or even 2 back, like we got the goal back against Darmstadt, and then it's completely thrown out the window, and the second half becomes a half where you can't really plan for anything. Kaiserslautern take their foot off the gas a little bit, and it just becomes essentially just a way of getting fitness in, which is fine. We need match fitness, we need sharpness, we need players to run around and get, you know, that match intensity. But that's what, you know, that's definitely what Alfredsson was for. And then you've had 2 games with the Darmstadt one. Now you've got to be working on things that Patterson wants to work with, because the season is 3 weeks away today, 21 days away, if I'm correct. So, yeah, a lot still to work on. And it's a shame, because I actually thought Cotter looked pretty good first half. Like, he actually did look pretty good before his sending off. He was taking it round players. He was winning challenges. But I just think it's stupid from him. It's stupid. It's born out of frustration. Look, you're playing wing back essentially in a defence that's conceded 3 in the first 15 minutes, and one of your first games for Notts. I know it's not a competitive game, but there you go. And then the second half, I think we do quite well. There's not a lot to say about it. I think we do quite well to keep them out. To only 1 goal, they did hit the woodwork, and they did have a few more chances. The trialist goalkeeper, not sure who it was, so leave his name in the comments. Did okay with some saves, but we had no outlet. We couldn't really do anything. We made a few changes. We saw, you know, Edwards come on. We saw McDonald. We saw Gordon. We saw, you know, a few changes, but Hinchy as well. But nothing that's going to, you know, we're not going to show us anything when we're playing against a side that are better than us. And we're down to 10 men in the pre-season friendly. So what I think it shows is, in the 38, 39 minutes when we did have 11 men, is we still desperately need someone to connect attack and the midfield and attack. I think we need 3 or 4 bodies still through the door. I think, as I've said, Cotter looked good. I think I've been impressed with a lot of Dennis from what I've seen. Tommy or Pender looked pretty good. Stevenson, I think we should sign him. I definitely think we should sign him. You know, we've still got Jody to come into this team. Jarvis, I think this season will just feel like a new signing, even though we did see quite a lot of him after his signing from Hull in the latter part of last season. Thinking MK Dons fantastic in that game. Got us a couple of goals back at Meadow Lane in March or April, whenever that was. But we still need players. I think the idea this year is we had players that had just moments of brilliance in them, whether that was goals from David McGoldrick or like outstanding challenges and like lung-busting runs from George Abbott, which we've lost, or great saves from a very, very good keeper in Alex Bass. I think this season we're going for more of a squad depth approach. You look at your wing-back positions, for example. It looks like we're going to play wing-backs. You can have Jarvis play there and Jody, who I've already mentioned. You can have Nick Cerula, Kellen Gordon and Cotter play there. You've got 5 options there. You know, I've seen Lewis McCorry play there at some points. Defence, you know, we've signed the young lad from Man U. We've got McDonald. We've got Platt, Ness, who I think should be a starter. Bedu. You know, all those players. Midfield's quite packed out now with the return of Scott Robertson. But I think we're light in those positions that connect the midfield and attack. You Grant, your Edwards, you know, are they going to put in 35, 40 quality games this season? Like, I hate to mention his name, but like Dan Crowley would. Dan Crowley would not be on it 100% of the time, but he'll put in good games, you know, 35, 40, 41, 42 good games. So would David McGoldrick. You've got to remember Jatta's not in this team at the minute. Left in the UK with visa issues. I don't know what's happened there. We saw all those speculation from his agent online that he didn't even attempt to get him a visa. He does seem very strange. Trying to, you know, briefly thinking about it and looking at it, I'm sure everyone from outside the EU would need to get a visa to go on this pre-season training camp, which would be Traore would need one. Racking my brains at who else. Probably just Traore and Jatta. Obviously Traore's got one. Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs behind that, but if it just is a simple mistake, yeah, fair enough. But your top goal scorer last season, or joint top goal scorer, I think, coming off the back of a very, very poor end to the season where he's just got a straight red for lashing out in a semi-final, should really be with the squad and should be learning Patterson's ways, definitely. I mean, I don't see... There's obviously no benefit to keeping him back, but you think they should have probably done everything to get him a good start to the season. But that's not the case. So we're working with what we've got at the minute. I keep hearing things of Patterson saying there's people coming through the door. Matty Platt saying there's people coming through the door. He literally said it. He said he expects to see some new signings because the current ones are bedding in so well. That was the question he was asked. But we still need quality. We definitely need quality. I said on Twitter that listening to interviews from Patterson, and I use the word slightly, I'm slightly more optimistic for the season. But I'm going to be completely honest. I am very, very, one day I think more positively, the next I'm a bit more negative. I don't know how it's going to go. I really am not sure. I'm hoping I'm feeling more positive with sort of 2 weeks to go, 1 week to go, and then obviously the start of the season against Newport. But I really, really don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. And I think if we were to go into the season right now with this squad, I'd feel quite nervous, a little bit unprepared. But I'm not going to, I also said on Twitter that I'm going to wait until the end of the summer and reassess then, see what we've got then. And I'll do that. So let's see what next week brings us. We've got obviously another friendly in Germany, and then come back and we've got, obviously the Cardiff game. More time for players to gel, but I'm very, very interested to finish recording this and go and see what Patterson has to say, because his interviews so far have impressed me. I'm not sure he will be impressed with what he saw on the pitch, especially in those 9 minutes. I'll be interested to see what he makes of Cotter's red card.